Yes. Hi, everyone. You're here for another Q&A with OK Student. You're here today with me, Mariana, Head of Advisors, and my great colleague,
Trish. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you again. Well,
it's,
you seeing me, kind of.
everyone seeing each other is fantastic. This is
Yeah,
why we like these lives.
exactly.
How are you, Trish? I'm so happy you're here with me again.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm okay. Can't complain. Alive out here. Yeah.
Just chilling. I see you now have the OK Student logo behind
Yeah,
you.
I'm so happy. I feel like a YouTuber for real. Like, oh, it's on this side. Hey, guys. What do they do? Welcome to my channel. Whatever.
Exactly. So welcome to our channel. I
Exactly.
unfortunately don't have my OK Student logo on the wall yet.
You'll have it soon when you unpack.
Exactly. Basically, it's still on my desk somewhere.
Yeah.
Where a couple of friends always think it's the OK Cupid logo, and I'm always slightly sad it's not. But I love that it's the OK Student logo.
Yeah, and they are similar, so I'll-
Exactly. So how has your experience been for this last month? Like, we haven't seen you for a month, basically. And
yeah,
when we first saw you, you were just about to start your
baby.
training. How has it been since?
I would say it's been mixed. So it's been really intense and exciting, hearing from all our partner universities, just directly learning so much about unis, but also learning so much means it's been intense. So trying to keep all of that information and try and find easier ways to retain certain information about different universities. But I am enjoying it still. So yeah, really excited for the next few months.
So what are some fun things that you learned about universities? Let me put you on the spot here. What are some of the funnest things that we've learned?
Oh my gosh. So can I name drop some universities here or
Yeah, let's name drop some of them.
so I'm thinking I was pleasantly surprised to find out that City University in London have underground buildings. Because when you see it from the outside, you think it's so small, but I think it's so clever that they're building down and making use of space and having things like flight simulators over there. That's amazing. What else? Finding out that, trying to remember, Westminster, again, a London uni, had some scenes of Harry Potter filmed there. Am I correct? Yeah, Harry Potter.
Yep.
And then there was something else to do with Avengers. Was it Worcester? So I'm remembering
Oh, was
Worcester.
it Worcester or was it? It was UEA. It was University
Yeah,
of East Anglia. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So really fun facts, actually, things that you would probably not know at all. So
Exactly.
yeah,
The Avengers one was such a thing when we first found out. It's amazing that they used one of the buildings as like the home of the Avengers, and
yeah,
like it's so nice.
it's cool. It is really
Honestly,
cool.
guys. So
Yeah,
if you want to study like comics and Marvel, UEA is the university for you, basically.
yeah, exactly. But it's really fun stuff. Yeah. And just knowing like each university has its little quirks that you can, if someone tells you, oh, I kind of want this, and you'll be like, oh, I know that Middlesex has this, I know that University of Nottingham has this, and then they can sort of pick from which area they want based on the little quirks that only we can tell them, really.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's why we take so much pride in our personalized service, right? Because there's always a perfect university for each of the students, depending on what you're interested in, depending on what your grades are, where you're coming from. So definitely, guys, if you're still looking to study in the UK, give us a like, send us an email, fill in our form at okstudent.co.uk/form to find out the perfect university for your specific case.
Exactly.
And don't forget, any questions you have, just ask them below. We're here to answer all of you about studying in the UK today.
Awesome.
And how has it been like being in all of these trainings and learning so much about these universities?
It's been really good because each of our university contacts are so personable, so they make it easy to ask questions, and just really learning the ins and outs of the business is really exciting. And just things that I never thought of before. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. I think that's what I'm enjoying the most. and just finding out all these little places in the UK like Aberystwyth and Bournemouth University, just in beautiful places in the UK. And I'm like, if I wasn't in Nottingham, I'd definitely be in either Bournemouth or Aberystwyth.
Exactly. Exactly. Like Aberystwyth is amazing. And I think the best thing that came out of that training was definitely me learning how to say Aberystwyth.
Exactly. Aberystwyth. Exactly. Yeah.
I still do not know how to spell it though, but I will learn.
I don't know how to spell it.
It's such a beautiful city though. It's right by the seaside. It has these amazing colorful houses. It's in Wales, so you get to see the puffins and everything. I just had one of our other colleagues, like Sarf, was just on a call with me saying that he was going to go to Wales, and literally my response to that was, you need to go and look at the puffins, okay? And take lots of pictures, lots of videos for me.
Yeah. Oh, lucky him.
I know. Like, call him, because I think he's looking for more people to go on that trip. So.
Thanks for the tip.
There you go. Just need to call him and say, like, Sarf, I heard you're going to Wales. Like, can you take me?
Do you need a buddy?
Exactly. Oh man, it's been great. It's been great, like, learning so much from you guys as well, because like basically you've been teaching me about visas and like course changes and things like that I had literally no idea could be done. And I know in our last live we said we were going to talk about course changes because you're sort of a specialist in this, right?
Oh yeah. So course changes. So because I really believe that 16 and 17 is too young to pick what you want to do at university, I thought this when I was 16 or 17. So when I had to decide my A levels, which is where I think the process starts, I picked all science subjects. I did chemistry, biology, psychology, and French.
Oh, wow.
Even though I really loved French and I thought, oh, psychology would be interesting, I chose the other two science subjects because I thought I'm going down a healthcare pathway, so towards like medicine and those kind of science subjects. So anyway, but I had done well. Okay, now I'll come back to that later. So I start my A levels now, and biology was amazing. French was really hard. Psychology was amazing. Chemistry was so hard. Like, oh my God, honestly, it was the hardest time of my life. I don't want to lie. But thank goodness got through it, and then decided, let me take a gap year while I really decide what I want to do. And my school was really big on like pushing sciences, science subjects, I mean. So once you were in those classes, you were really targeted towards like biomed, medicine, nursing, health and social, that sort of thing. So I was like, okay, I'll take a gap year, but I'll just go and do like biomedical sciences, and then maybe after that I'll go and do medicine. So I was very ambitious, as you can see. So I did, yeah, so I applied, got in, and started my biomedical sciences degree. And it was just like, I had no passion from within me for the subject. It was like, okay, I could do biology, I guess. I could kind of get through the sciences. But I was just like not feeling like I was driven enough to get through to what I thought the end goal was. And I think that end goal of medicine was just driven by, I need to pick something that can lead me to a career.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, so I was doing the course now, and in my first year, I was like, I really don't like this. I don't know if I should leave because obviously I've invested the first year already. So I don't know what to do, kind of thing. And I did seek help from my tutors and family members. But I feel like your tutors, they do want the best for you, but they also think since you started the course, you may as well like finish it. And they did know me from like before that anyway. So they were like, no, you can do this, you can stay on. If you enjoy this subject, then just do it. And I was like, I don't really enjoy it. And they were like, well, you can use a stepping stone. And once you get into second year, it's going to be so much more like vibrant. It'll be more detailed towards, I prefer like biology and human biology. So they were like, it'll be more leaning towards that and microbiology. And I was like, okay, yeah, we'll see. So I agreed, despite what I was feeling like my instincts, to go into second year of biomed. Um, so I started my second year now. And again, it was getting harder now at this point as well. And it was mainly lab stuff. And we also were preparing to do placement year, which would have been third year. So a couple of people coming in to give talks about the job that we were studying for. And I kept thinking to myself, I really don't see myself as a biomedical scientist at all. Um, so then I decided, let me just drop out and see what to do from there, really. So I withdrew myself from the course. And then after I'd already done that, now I found out all these different things about like the student finance issues that I didn't know of, that if I drop out, then if I did want to study again, I would need to maybe pay for a year because I dropped out in second year, that sort of thing. All these extra things that I really hadn't thought about. But then I thought to myself, okay, go back to the drawing room. So I literally went on UCAS because the agreement with my mum actually was that I could withdraw myself if I was going back into study. So yeah, you know, African family, she was really supportive, but I think she just didn't want me to have nothing to do.
Yeah.
So to think about what I wanted my future to be like. So at this point, I was working for a marketing firm as well. So I went on UCAS and I typed in all my different interests. So I would really recommend this to anyone who's not sure what they want to do. And I put in fashion, I put marketing, I put business, I put English, all these different things that I thought I might enjoy.
That
And
are completely different from what you were doing before as well. There's no sciences in there.
zero sciences. But I thought of like my GCSEs and what I'd enjoyed. I really enjoyed English. I enjoyed business, and I did well in those subjects as well. French I enjoyed as well, but from how hard it was at A level, I was like, I will not be able to cope at university level. Um, so yeah, all these different subjects were coming up. I was seeing like fashion, marketing, fashion design, business and marketing, business management and marketing, all of these different things. So I actually applied to then do business and marketing or fashion and marketing. And here I am now doing business and marketing. So very
That's awesome.
to get here.
That's
But
awesome. But how did you solve the student finance issue in this?
so I left. So there's a cut-off date basically that you have to leave before, because the first payment that student finance sends to your university comes around, I want to say November time, and I withdrew end of October. So that was the cut-off date basically, and I
Oh,
did the cut-off date, yeah. But I did have to send in some stuff to student finance to show that I'd left a previous place, blah, blah, blah. And you basically get given 3 years or the total years of your course plus one.
yeah.
So if you, some people say that plus one is if you decide that you do want to change course, but it's really crucial to know the dates, the cutoff dates for when the money is now paid to your university, because then you are going to need, it counts as you having paid for the whole year, even if they paid just the first installment of
Oh,
university. Yeah. Does
oh,
that,
that's interesting. So it's
yeah,
the October cutoff date that matters always. The
yeah,
November cutoff date, better saying.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Um, and then the other thing is you also would get maintenance loan then if you were refused fees. So they would give you maintenance loan, but if you've been charged for that whole year, then you're not going to get your tuition fees. But there's quite a lot of loopholes, I think, in terms of if you've had difficult circumstances the year before that made you leave your course, because they do understand things happen. So you could also apply for an extra year based on personal circumstances, or if you're really unwell and didn't manage to finish your course, it's not always just you've withdrawn yourself. So I think student finance are really understanding, but also having university counselors is really helpful.
Yeah, exactly. And I
Yeah.
mean, a student, like I dealt with a process like that this year of a student wanting to change course in the same university. And that's something that we can help with as well. Definitely, if somebody is considering changing their course or they're not entirely sure what they want to do, this is something OK Student can help you with. And it's definitely something that we are very experienced in doing as well. And I mean, with an expert like Trish, who has changed course so many times, it's so much easier as well because
Yeah.
she can tell you everything about what there is to know about changing
Yeah.
course.
Exactly. And how you can navigate your way through UCAS as well. Sorry, I'm so warm. How you can navigate yourself through UCAS. Really use your interests, I would say, in terms of picking your university degree. Because it's really, once you're at uni, it's you who's doing the degree after all. It's you who's going to have to motivate yourself when things do get hard. You're going to have to find your own placement if you want any experience in your study area. So if you have no interest at all, it is really difficult.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's definitely you who's going to have to live with the career that you've picked. And
Yeah.
I mean, degrees, like first degrees, I feel are not as important to career anymore as they used to be. But if you are in something like biomedical science that is super geared towards the future in a laboratory, that's definitely very, very different than if
Yeah.
you had taken something like social sciences or liberal arts or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, and
Exactly.
even marketing.
Yeah. So business and marketing are so broad, which is why I then decided it's best to do this, because in this I can really find where I can go instead of being limited to like biomed medicine type of areas. Um,
Exactly. Do you
yeah.
still have an interest in fashion? Because you were saying you wanted to go into something around fashion as well.
Yeah, so I do actually still have a keen interest in fashion. I love really vintage fashion. My friend actually got me the best birthday present. She got me 100 years of British Vogue, like this vintage
Oh,
magazine.
wow.
So literally like love that sort of style. I love the 90s look as well. Or early 2000s, 90s. You know the
Oh,
movie?
Jesus, really?
Yeah, that's me all over. But I just do still really like fashion. I just think it's something I can enjoy on the side instead of
Exactly.
like studying. Yeah.
Exactly. And have you looked at like courses for masters, like fashion marketing and promotion and things like
Yeah.
that?
Advertising and merchandising and buying. I did look into um, fashion buying and possibly fashion advertising for masters. So I might be coming to you with my application.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. I'm still debating between those two and like an MBA.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll see.
We'll
But
see.
an
Yes.
MBA is much more of a financial commitment, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. MBA tuition fees are so much more expensive, right?
Yeah.
And then I often feel like they are vanity courses more than anything.
Yeah,
They're
I
a bit
kind
of
of
like a
agree.
vanity qualification that you go into it if you really want to be an executive somewhere. Yeah. I met
Yeah.
a few people who were taking MBAs, like high grade executives who were taking MBAs just because they wanted to progress in their careers and things of this sort. So
Yeah.
I definitely think it's useful, but yeah, it's a very, very big financial commitment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I definitely
Uh,
want to stay at NTU. That's one thing I know. It's
Not Aberystwyth. You're not going to go to Aberystwyth.
no, because I just don't think I can deal with another big change like that personally, in
Yeah,
terms of
I get that.
getting used to culture and environment and how people do things differently. I feel like a beach lifestyle would be much more relaxed to what I'm used to now. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's definitely true. Well,
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone who's watching us right now. You're here with our live Q&A with OK Student. I'm Mariana, and I'm here with Trish. Wait,
Trish.
this side. Yes.
Yeah, Trish. I'm leaning the wrong way. Trish.
And we're here to answer any and all questions you might have about studying in the UK. We were just talking about changing course and how important these processes are and how they need to be done in certain dates. So if you need help with changing your course at any point, do come and talk to us because we can help you make these decisions and when to make them by.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were also talking about fashion. So guys, if you're in fashion, like do let us know. I'm very interested in it as well. I quite like the unisex, all of the unisex like labels that are coming out right now are like hearts all around. Yeah. So yeah, comment any questions you have below. If you haven't done your application yet, send us your contact details through okstudent.co.uk/form so we can give you an advisor and get started on your application for September 2020. You were saying you didn't want to leave NTU. Like, what do you think of Nottingham then? You've been like living in Nottingham for a while now, right?
Yeah. So I've been living in Nottingham for the past 5 years. Wow, it's 5 years already. And it's just so great here. I love it. It's like a nice balance between very chilled and not too busy, and also like a city life. So
Yeah.
if you want a meet in the middle city, I would say Nottingham is the perfect place. People are really friendly over here as well, compared to like down south, because I did my A levels in London. So yeah, so the difference is really a lot.
London is a whole different game. I would not be able to live in London, honestly.
Yeah, everyone's just busy and it's so hectic. It is really nice to visit. So I'm not saying it's a bad place. It's lovely to visit. It's really beautiful, loads of tourist places, loads of opportunities as well. But I think you can get that as well outside of London and
Exactly.
visit. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that London is definitely something for people who are in finance, people who are in business, all of this sort of thing.
Yeah.
You should definitely like think about London. But for other courses, it's like I feel like there's a fantasy about London of it being a really cosmopolitan city, and it is. But cosmopolitan cities also come with their disadvantages, which is you basically having to be in the tube for like an hour to visit a friend who lives in the same city as you, if not more than an hour, right?
Exactly.
And if you take and if you take the bus, it's just going to take you 2 to 3 hours to like traverse the city.
So
And
much
that's
traffic.
yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
remember just like the few times that I was on a bus in London, I just swore never to do it again because you just hop on them and then you just never know when you're going to come out the other side.
Nope, you don't. And I feel like it's a really foreign experience if you're not from London to get used to it. Like most buses everywhere have one entrance, one exit. London has two entrances now because you can enter in the back as well, and
Oh.
two exits. It's just, yeah, it's a lot. And then obviously using your card and Oyster cards to pay for buses and trains, which is so different to everywhere else in the UK, I would say.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's only
Exactly.
like
But to
oh,
be
go
fair, I had so many issues in Nottingham with the buses because I could never pay with my contactless card. I hope that they've installed that by now. But like the 6 months that I was there, it was just like, yeah, contactless is coming. We haven't done it yet. We're sorry, but we're doing it. And I was
yeah.
just like paying through the app all the time. There was one time like my phone just completely broke down. And I was like just trying to show this like, yeah,
no
it was not ideal at all.
Yeah. They have upgraded it. I was gonna say now, so some of the buses, like the one that I take from home to uni, you can pay by contactless now. Like you tap on and then tap off.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
They are trying, slowly catching up.
So we actually have a question here from Joanna about the living costs in Nottingham. So what have you been feeling like with like comparing Nottingham to London or other UK cities?
So compared to London, Nottingham is, I would even say, 50% cheaper. Like that's how big of a difference it is. In terms of food, eating out, going out for drinks, that sort of thing, but also accommodation as well. So in London, maybe you would pay, in terms of uni student amounts, you would pay 200 at the very least, really. For like if you want your own bathroom and then possibly a shared kitchen.
Yeah, and that's per week, right?
Exactly £200 per week. And then I would say like Midlands going up north, you could get your own bathroom and shared facilities, or even actually your own studio for the same amount of money for 200,
Yeah.
or probably less. And then if you just want an ensuite bathroom and shared kitchen, you could pay like at the most 170, 160 thereabouts. But then going further up north is even cheaper as well. So yeah, I would
Exactly.
say the further south you go, it does kind of get cheaper after London, but not quite as cheaper as it is going further north in the UK.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like that's true. There's a huge north and south divide. I think that there are hotspots, though, where universities are. It does tend to
Yeah,
be a bit more expensive than cities
yeah,
around it. So, like
exactly.
Bristol, for example, is really expensive because it has two universities and it's a big financial center as well. Cambridge is super expensive because of the two universities, and I think it kind of equals London prices and rent. And then
Really?
yeah. Like it's super expensive, honestly. When I was in Cambridge, like we couldn't get a room for less than 450, and that was in 2012.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that was quite a long time ago, and it's like still I'm admitting how old I am on this like live here today. Uh, but yeah, so I graduated in 2014, and by then it was already like 500, 600 for a room.
Wow, that's a huge difference. Like that's
Yeah.
really expensive. Yeah,
Yeah. In
yeah.
Nottingham, to be fair, I lived like the 6 months that I lived in Nottingham, I lived in a bungalow with three bedrooms, and I was the only tenant and the landlord was never there. So basically what I did was I actually paid like 460 per month or something like
Wow,
that. But it was
wow.
basically my own house.
Yeah,
Like,
that's nice.
yeah, and it had a bathtub with like the lion paws and things like that. So it's a whole nother level, you know? And like
Yeah.
each time there was a problem, there was like the landlord was super nice, such a cool guy, and he was an electrician. So like anything there
Oh,
was to fix in the house, he would just fix it. And it was great. It was such a good experience.
that sounds fun, actually. Yeah. I would
Yeah.
even say, in terms of living costs, outside of accommodation, I think you can work your way around it. So if you do find yourself in like an expensive city, I think we spoke about this last time, is finding cheaper supermarkets and budgeting, which I will say every single time I'm on a live with you, I'll emphasize budgeting. So because I kind of learned from my first time at uni that you really need to have your budget in check, because it's not good to call your mum every month.
I feel like I kind of learned that through my undergraduate as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you can work your way around it, balance your whether if you need to buy books, but a lot of universities do offer ebooks now for free through the online libraries. So having all your school stuff in check, and then also finding where you can save money in terms of supermarkets, or if you can mix it up and buy. So I used to buy like groceries from Aldi, and then I would buy my toiletries from like body care or savers, those kind of things, to completely avoid a lot of things. And then things that I couldn't really get in those places, then I would go to like Tesco or Superdrug. But yeah, it's
Exactly.
about finding how you can really save money the most that you can.
Definitely, definitely. And like figure out what's important to you in a budget as well. I think that that's really important because sometimes people will create budgets that are really, really minimal.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that doesn't work for everyone because we have different values over how we spend money. Like, for example, I used to love buying clothes, and I haven't bought clothes for myself in like the last 2 years.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, because basically I just went on this like ethical high where I went like, oh, I'm not going to buy anything from like fast fashion brands.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then what's left is super expensive. So you need to budget completely differently. And I'm still
Yeah.
like trying to figure out how to budget for that. And
Yeah.
it's been 2 years. So like
Yeah.
I'm just here not buying clothes and budgeting for it.
I think your best bet is like vintage shops. So there's like an amazing charity shop in Nottingham called White Rose that I love. They do
White
like,
Rose is amazing.
yeah, up to date fashion. It's literally those are tricks as well. So instead of going to your like online fast fashion store, tongue twister, you can literally go to like a vintage store and spend half the money and get just as good clothes. Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes get things that are really like statement pieces. Like
Yeah.
I have so many things that are just statement pieces that
Yeah.
I bought because like I found them somewhere. And
Mhm.
they're things that are going to be in my closet forever because they're really like important pieces for my wardrobe.
Yeah. And they're rare as well, so you're not going to see everyone else on the street wearing them.
Exactly. Exactly. Like my enormous yellow fur coat that you've never seen. And I have to show you. It's beautiful. It's canary yellow.
Oh, that's right up my alley, Mariana. Fur coats. Well, faux fur.
Yeah, of course. Faux fur. Faux fur. I'm vegan. I can't do fur,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not vegan, but I definitely don't agree with using animals for like clothing or for fur.
Guys, this is going to become like an ethical fashion podcast, basically. This is what we're doing here. So if you have any questions about ethical fashion and how to balance your budget around fashion, do let us know.
Mhm.
I think that that's definitely one of the big things is like budgeting as a student and figuring out what is important to you is one of the biggest things because I feel that it's so easy for people to just put like fun as like the all of the pyramid, all of the budget pyramid is like fun, and they forget about rent and they forget about food and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Literally. But I
And
was gonna, oh, sorry.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say on the whole fast fashion topic. So that's one thing I really love about unis over here. You will literally find a talk or a guest lecture on anything. So last year I attended a talk on like fast fashion, and I managed to take part in this whole sustainability and practice thing where they were teaching us about fast fashion, and I got
Mm-hmm.
a certificate as well for it. So you can literally do all these things that you probably are interested in, as well as your degree, and get some recognition for it as well, because it does.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly. And the sustainability and practice thing, I actually found it really interesting because I'd never seen something like that in a UK university. And that was advertised to me. I was taking like documentary journalism, and they were like advertising that course as like, you should really do this because you can get a
yeah,
certificate at the end.
and it's literally like it doesn't even take you months out of your calendar. Like the one that I did was a whole day of workshops, and then we did a project at the end of that. So I think some of them run over 2 days, some of them can be done over one day, but you learn so much, meet different people on different courses. It's really, really good.
Exactly, exactly. And that's why like Nottingham Trent is Sustainable University of the Year, right? They're always the Sustainable University of the Year.
Exactly, yeah. And you can see
And
walking around the university, like at the top of our library, we have this garden space that you can just chill in during revision periods. It's really beautiful.
it's so good. It's so
Yeah,
good. And even the fact that they have a secondhand fashion like fair every once in a while on level, it's so
yeah,
good.
yeah, exactly. I think quite a lot of unis, like my old uni, clan, I'm gonna drop names now, have a vintage fair as well, actually. So I will give that. I think Vintage Fair does a tour of like UK universities.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because they have it quite a few unis. Yeah.
We haven't had a training with you, Clan. You got to call up your old uni to tell
Yeah.
them, like, how are you not here?
Exactly. Yeah, we do need training. And Preston, a really cheap city if you want to go up north. It's literally everything is in one place. It's like one street.
One street city. Not a
Yeah,
big city, but cheap.
yeah, exactly. Taxi is like, I remember maybe a 20 minutes walk journey is like £3 taxi. It's very cheap.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, £3 50 if I'm like really off.
And in relation to budgeting, we actually have a question here about master's scholarships. So, how do we get a master's scholarship to study in the UK, and what are the requirements to be eligible for one? So, do you want to talk about this a bit, Trish?
Yeah, I can dabble, a little bit. Um, so it depends on each university. There are so many options for scholarships. So we have, all universities have country specific ones. they have automatic discounts in some universities for international students, which you don't actually need to apply for. The eligibility check is just that you're paying international fees. There's other scholarships that are like sports scholarships, music scholarships. There's Chevening scholarship and Commonwealth scholarships. But then there's also merit scholarships. So if you've done really well academically in your bachelor's degree, then you would be able to apply for a merit scholarship based on how well you did. And yeah, so the requirements do vary. Some of them ask you to write an essay, and it doesn't really have anything to do with your grades, so you can sort of showcase yourself that way. So yeah, it really just depends on which university and why you want a scholarship and in which areas you need one. But you can definitely contact us for more help on that because that's a lot of information to take in all at once. You can go to okstudent.co.uk/form or go on our Instagram at OK_student and just send us a DM that you need help with a scholarship application.
Exactly. And you can also send us an email at info@okstudent.co.uk and we can help you find the scholarship for you. Thank you so much, Panache, for your question. I hope we answered it well. But yeah, the world of scholarships is a completely different one, right? Where there are so many options, especially for international students, where there are nationality scholarships as well.
Exactly. Yeah, there's so many options. Yeah.
Exactly.
I was talking to someone about a sports scholarship as well, which I didn't even know you could get at university level. So that was a really good discovery. I was like, okay, you can actually get into uni because and get some help due to performance scholarships that are not. Yeah.
Exactly. As long as you've played nationally or if you've played internationally, you're eligible for a sports scholarship in most universities because they do want to have excellent students and they do want to showcase excellence across the university. So if you think you have things to contribute, they will be there for you and give you a scholarship.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that is one of the best ways that you can balance your budget, right? If you have free money, basically, it's so good to be able to balance your budget like that.
Yeah. And I feel like it will be extra motivation to complete your degree and do it well because you know that you're getting some help as well. But I even think if your parents are helping you pay for international fees, that should be enough motivation as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, because they're so expensive as well. And even the European tuition fees, they're so expensive. And I mean, it's so easy to get motivated through that. If you're spending the money here, honestly, I'm giving you advice straight from my mom, basically, right now, where she always told me, Mariana, you're basically giving money away to a university if you don't do the things in the proper timing. So finish your degree in 3 years, avoid giving them more money than what it's worth, and get focused type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with your mama.
Yeah, she's a bright and wise woman, I must say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's definitely such a good thing. It's just and I mean, it's not that difficult in the UK, right? To be able to study and work in part-time. I worked for my entire undergraduate. I don't know if that's your case as well, Trish?
Yeah, I'm working. And I was working last year, although I was working very part-time. I was working here and there, and then some periods, like exam time, I just would not work because it was, for me personally, it was too stressful. But that's the great thing about the part-time job scene in the UK, that a lot of these employers understand that we're students, so they give us quite flexible shift patterns. And you can always let them know as well when maybe you've been working the same set of hours or same days. If you have a period that's coming up where you have loads of coursework or exams, they're really understanding and they try and accommodate you around on that.
Exactly. And I know that, for example, 0-hour contracts are really criticized for not being super kind on the worker. But I do think that sometimes with students, those are one of the best options. I worked on a 0-hour contract my 3 years at uni, and it was one of the best things, mainly because it was so flexible. I can work this week and not work the next week. And that's fine ultimately, as long as you have a good handle on how you manage both your time and your money, because I feel like these things are really intertwined. How you manage your time ends up being how you manage your money. Then you can really like excel at things. What I would do normally is like, if I wouldn't have exams or I wouldn't have assignments, I would just work like crazy during a few weeks and then just stop completely when I actually needed to do assignments.
Yeah, exactly.
That made it so much easier for me to manage as well, and for me to like manage my time.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Definitely.
Exactly. And also because some unis will give you the possibility of you managing your own schedule.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there was one year I made like the terrible decision of putting all of my classes at 8 in the morning, every day, 8 in the morning, and it was not okay. It was
Oh,
not okay.
8 a.m.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is going to motivate me to get out of bed and I'm going to have excellent days ahead of me. And I forgot that I was 17 and working like crazy at night. And then I would not wake up for my lectures at 8 in the morning.
Oh dear. I don't know how
So
you did that.
it's not a good way to manage your time.
No, it's not at all. It's not. But yeah, I think also one of our partners, Bucks, I'm really name dropping today. I think trying to remember all my uni training. Bucks University do quite a very flexible learning schedule as well if you need it, depending on what subjects you're doing. And if you need it to focus more on like your practical skills, if you maybe feel like you're very non-academic and essay and research based. So that's something which is, I think, unique to the UK in that sense, that universities, there's a range of universities that can support all sorts of backgrounds. If you're a very academic research person, you can do well. But if you're a practical person, you can also do well.
Exactly. And especially with like universities that have them both, right? Like UEA, for example, University of East Anglia is highly focused on research, but
Yeah,
also with a really practical tone to it. So
yeah,
if you do want a practical and professionalizing degree, go to them. But if you have a keen interest in research, you can also go to them and see, and see what's up, because most of them have, or better, all of them basically have links to
yeah.
industry, links to awesome, amazing people to employ you after your degree and for you to do placements with. So it's definitely, I think the better choice is definitely come and study in the UK.
Exactly. Yeah. For flexibility, for opportunity, for the English language level, for the degree that you'll get that you can use anywhere in the world. It's actually amazing. All the different people that you'll meet from different places in the world again. It's just a great place over here.
Exactly. It's so
Study.
diverse, so
Yeah.
many people, and it really opens up the cultural horizons, because like if you just stay at home, you just know people your own nationality, you know people from your own culture,
Yeah.
whereas it's so relative and it's so subjective, isn't it? The way we like look at culture until we live somewhere
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah.
And suddenly we realize that, yeah, other cultures are not better, not worse. They're really different from
Yeah.
ours.
Exactly. Yeah. And you learn so much over here that you can take back home as well. That's the one thing I'm always saying. Everything I see, I'm like, this can be done in Zimbabwe, this can be done in Africa. And it just takes us to come learn from others, take it to our countries. They also learn from us as well. And I think it's just a progressive way to live of life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Is finding out, like getting knowledge and trading knowledge and all of these. We are, in fact, like just traders of knowledge, right? Where
Exactly.
like, yeah, that's the basics of this, and trying to like gather more and more knowledge. And it just gives you such a different worldview. I feel like, I don't know if you feel like this when you go home, but like when I go home, it's like it's such a different worldview that I have because of having been in the UK for so long.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And even how you relate to other people as well, I think completely changes. And I think it does help in terms of like self-discovery to like get out of your country for a little bit and learn in a different country. You do learn so much about yourself and how you can really maximize all your potential in whatever you want to do in the future.
Exactly, exactly. And it's definitely such a good way. Yeah, that's it. It's like self-discovery all the way through. Like if you're in the UK, especially if you go as an undergraduate, I feel, or
Yeah,
even if you go as a postgraduate and you've never lived away from home and you've never really had that yearning to like live away from home, it's definitely something really good to do as an experience once in a lifetime. I know that I've become like much more willing to leave my country once I've left it once.
yeah, exactly.
But then I also feel that you end up valuing things about your own country completely differently.
Yeah, exactly. Things that you may have taken for granted. For me, it's definitely the food. I miss the food from home so much, other than the weather, because I think that's standard. Everyone misses the weather, but the food, I just miss it so much. Because you don't realize when you move countries that there are those differences, or it's not something you think about until you're actually in that situation.
Exactly, exactly. And there were foods that I didn't like Portuguese foods that I didn't like, that I started liking when I
Yeah.
went to the UK because I just missed it.
Same, literally same. I think that's why I mean the food that I miss it, because obviously there's great food here and there is a wide range from like Asian type foods all the way to African foods. You can get anything really you want, but I think there's just that when you're at home, you're like, okay, this tastes so different over here, yeah, and you appreciate
Exactly.
it much more.
Exactly, because it's the environment as well where you're eating them, right? I can eat like a Portuguese typical dish in the UK, but it will not be the same thing because the old guy speaking Portuguese, half drunk and smoking a cigarette, is not screaming on the
Yeah,
next table. So
exactly, yeah.
it's this sort of thing that makes like the entire experience of like having that sort of food.
Yeah, exactly. It's
But I'm definitely gonna take you all to like my favorite restaurant in Nottingham when I come back. I've like been talking about this on every single live,
I
and I
saw.
feel like we're gonna have to go live from that restaurant when we actually do it.
Yeah, I love it as well though. When you mentioned it, I literally was like, oh my gosh, I love that Ethiopian place as well.
It's so good, and the woman is so nice. She's so
Yeah,
nice.
she is
Oh,
lovely. And it's so close to uni, like you can literally go there every day if you want to.
exactly, exactly. And she will treat you like family if you go there every day, basically.
Yeah, no, it is really nice. We definitely need to have a
Yes.
live from there.
Take the entire team and just have a live.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, Trish, thank you so much for this. We're about to close our live today. Any
No.
last words?
Um, just contact OK Student and we can help you come study in the UK. I know people find it intimidating as well to think, can I actually study in the UK and at a UK university? I've never left the country, that sort of thing. But there's so many options, and we can definitely help you with those because we are learning directly from the universities. So it's things
Exactly.
that normal people don't know, but we can definitely help you.
Yeah, and I think that like that part of like, oh, I've never left the country, that's what makes it so intimidating. But there's a first time for everything. We all were in that situation and we can all relate to you and we're gonna help you through it.
Yeah, exactly. And the
And
fact that we have such a wide network of students at OK Student that are from different countries, there's someone who can relate to your culture, definitely. So, yeah,
and someone who can make you food from home, definitely.
exactly. Yeah, someone who can make you food from home and speak to you as well in your home language, because that's another thing I think people miss, just hearing other people speaking non-English languages. So we're definitely here to support you.
Exactly, exactly. I feel like the language is such an important part of this as well, where it's because it's a completely different mode of expression, right? I feel completely different when I speak in English versus when I speak in Portuguese or Spanish.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
can say certain things that you can't say in English. Like there's some jokes that don't translate at all directly.
exactly.
Yeah. or
Or
take.
that are like cultural references as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, when I came back here now, because I've been in Portugal now basically for 2 or 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed for like the first week, I was just basically communicating in cultural references because I hadn't had the chance to do that for like 9 months. So I was just getting it out of my system all at the same time.
Oh my gosh, I feel you.
Oh man, this was great. Guys, again, thank you so much for watching us today. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, it's up there.
Mhm.
Follow us on Medium as well. We're looking for creators. So if you guys want to write, if you want to do some art, if you want to do copy for us or video, do let us know. Send us an email. Go to our Medium page. And yeah, hope you have a great day, all.
Yes, thank you for having me, Mariana, again.
Of course, of course. It's always a pleasure to talk to you on these lives, Trish.
You too.